Supervisors, take your seats, please. That's everybody here that's going to be here, I think. You just call the order and let's do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please. We're going to do a voice roll call here.
Brady. Rose.
Here.
Entz. Belsky. Here. Celebrate. Kubicki.
Present.
Gashke.
Here.
Rodriguez. O'Day. Berg.
Here.
Ron Frederick. Here. Nudo. Franco. Boyd Frederick. Gully.
Here.
Wambolt. Uhas.
Present.
Beth.
Here.
Palmaville.
Here.
Decker. Winky.
Here.
Mauer and Nordigan are excused.
Anybody else missing is unexcused. Jeff Gens.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like
you have the floor.
to either have you do this or make a motion to, if it's okay with everybody, to move citizens' comments to after item number 51. Aye. We're not cutting them.
Chairman. Jerry Gully had a comment. Supervisor Gully did.
So, the chairman, why are we doing this, Mr. Gens?
Because we're mainly here for the bonding, and if we approve the bonding, it might affect some of the citizens' comments. And not to mention that one of the people here has a sick individual at home and would like to get back to them after the bonding votes are taken, so that's what we're doing. Okay.
It's going to be after item number 51. It's changed.
Yes.
We voted on it. It's changed. Any supervisor reports? Seeing none, old business.
Motion to reconsider a motion voted on by the county board at its last meeting on Thursday, November 5th, 2020, to adopt resolution number 50, a resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed 15,240,000 general obligation promissory notes for the budgeted capital projects, including road and highway improvements. Initial resolution. The following is the resolution if the motion to reconsider passes. Resolution number 50, a resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed 15,240,000 general obligation promissory notes for budgeted capital projects, including road and highway improvements. Initial resolution from the Finance and Administration Committee. Rose, aye. Ron Frederick, aye. Kubicki, aye. Uhas, aye. Franco, aye. Gens, aye. Wambolt, aye.
Done. Ready? Done.
Done.
Okay. Supervisor Winky.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, pursuant to section 2.10, number 2 of the County Board Rules of Procedure, I move to reconsider the vote on the resolution 50.
Second.
Aye.
Chairman,
Yes.
I would move resolution number 50 on behalf of the Finance Committee.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a statement. Since we had the vote on the budget and bonding, I have had an opportunity to speak with current and past county board supervisors, the administration, and many of my constituents in regards to this matter. Their input and their responses to my concerns were invaluable. This is my first budget, and I do have concerns about where our debt is going in the future. After much discussion, now I know that the CIP plan and the future bonding is not cut in stone and is subject to future budget approval by this board. Expressed by my concern about how we fund body cameras in the future. I believe we should consider paying for them with the reserves or the levy, not from borrowing. We need the body cams, but it's just the way we pay for it. Future expenditures will be addressed at a later date. I believe we need to take a closer look at our debt policies to minimize our future debt while providing essential infrastructure to set Kenosha County up for future generations. The administration and others have committed to working with me to evaluate these policies. Overall, this is a good budget with a minimal tax impact on our constituents. The change on an average home is an increase of less than $1.50. We are still providing essential services and maintaining our infrastructure as we should. I'm committed to holding the line on taxes, minimizing our debt in the future, and I look forward to working with all of those who have reached out to me so we can accomplish this goal. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to compliment Supervisor Winkie for making the motion to reconsider what I think is a very important issue, the bonding and for Kenosha County, and for his support, which I anticipate on the motion itself. This bonding is going to support such things as the body cameras for the deputy sheriffs, basic security for the 2 jails, squads for the sheriff's department, the Veterans Park continuation of that renovation and creation of what will become a regional proposition for many people to come to this area to see and celebrate those veterans who have given their lives and service to this country, as well as economic development for this area, which has started some years ago, and we wanted to continue it in the future. So I compliment him on his motion to reconsider, as well as the support for this bonding resolution this evening, which I anticipate then will bring us over the top for the necessary 18 votes. Thank you.
The vote against.
I move to call the question.
Is there a second? Moving and seconded to call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. On the motion to reconsider, want to do a roll call?
The motion to reconsider has been passed. This is on.
That's
this is on the
passed.
bond.
I'm making a motion on the bonding.
Okay. All right. You motion to close debate then?
Yeah,
Okay.
close debate.
We'll just close debate.
Right.
This is a roll call on the bond resolution itself.
Okay.
Gully,
Aye.
Celebrity, Winkie,
Aye.
Beth. Aye. Ron Frederick. Yes. Rose,
Aye.
O'Day,
Aye.
Belsky. Aye. Boyd Frederick. Aye. Yashki.
Aye.
Franco. Aye. Uhas. Aye. Berg.
Aye.
Palmaville. Aye. Grady, Gantz,
Aye.
Kubicki,
Aye.
Wamble. 18.
We have 18, it passes. Thank you very much. Now, as that, public comments, that motion was made to,
No, we're going, it's after
you don't
51.
do it after 51?
Move item 51, Mr. Chairman.
Read it, go ahead.
Resolution, one reading, 51, from the Finance and Administration Committee, a resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed 7,945,000 general obligation bonds and/or notes for highway projects, including the Highway S project between Highway 31 and I-94. From the Finance and Administration Committee, Rose I, Ron Frederick I, Kubicki I, Uhas I, Franco I, Gantz I, Wamble I.
Supervisor Rose.
All right, thank you. I urge the board's support for this almost $8 million resolution this
Move the
evening.
motion.
There, I already made it.
All right.
Supervisor
Okay.
Gantz did.
Second by
And I
Supervisor
seconded
Uhas.
it.
Supervisor Rose.
All right, thank you. I urge the board's support for this almost $8 million general obligation bonds notes for these various highway projects. I would call this a economic development resolution because these are the kinds of highways which will bring to this community more jobs, more companies, just as we did with Highway 165 many years ago when this board developed and encouraged the development by the WIS Park of what has become the real centerpiece of economic development for Kenosha County. We anticipate that this resolution likewise will be the spark plug and the direction that we give to economic developments for such places as Summers and surrounding communities outside of the city of Kenosha. We will look back upon this in years to come, just as we look towards Highway 165 as the beginning of a new era for Kenosha County development, where we did not stop with 165. This is just the beginning, not the end, for other areas of economic development in this community. So I urge your unanimous support this evening. Thank you.
Supervisor Gantz.
I move to close debate and call the question.
Motion to close the question. Any second? Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that motion? If not, we'll go to a vote. You want to just do a call vote on that? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Thank you. We'll vote on that resolution now.
We're moving to a vote on resolution 51.
51. We don't do roll call on that?
Sure. All right. Resolution 51 for the bonding. Berg,
Aye.
Wamble, Franco, Winky,
Yes.
Almaville,
Yes.
Gully,
Aye.
O'Day,
Yes.
Belsky,
Aye.
Celebrity, Beth,
Yes.
Ron Frederick, Gashke, Uhas, Grady, Gantz, Kubicki,
Aye.
Rose,
Aye.
Boyd Frederick. 18. Motion passes.
Motion did carry, did it not?
Yes, motion
Thank you.
passes.
Thank you very much. Now, based on that other motion was passed earlier, are there any citizens' comments? Step up to the podium, state your name and address. On. If you want to leave, you can leave.
Can you hear me? Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, member of the boards, invited guests, and all our veterans here today. I'm Ali Nelson, reside at 7225 150th Avenue in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I here speak tonight as a veteran and a concerned citizen. Thank you, Lon. I just want to say, on the behalf of all our veterans here in Kenosha County, I just want to thank the board for your brilliant decisions and voting yes for Kenosha County Veterans Memorial Park. It's a park that's well needed in our community. We're losing 22 veterans a day to suicide. Just having a park like that is very therapeutic, and our veterans can get out to the park and reconnect with life and give them the opportunity to live a long life. I just want to say, on the behalf of all our veterans here in Kenosha, I thank you again. And may God continue to bless you, your family, our veterans, and these United States of America that we proudly serve. Thank you.
State your name and address for the record, please. You
Can
have
I
3
get up here
minutes.
first? Okay. My name is Portia Bennett Bay. I am for the city, I am District 2. For the county, I am District 7. My concern was the initial voting on the body cams, because I didn't understand why were you so against it? Why didn't you want them at first? When that will help both parties, not just the citizens, but officers as well. So my concern was, what is it that you're trying to hide? Now, my other problem was with the budget, because I've read the proposal for 2021, and it gives like the, what's it called? The Sheriff's Department goals and objectives, right? And I can say, after reading every single last one with this same page, and I'm sure you all know what page it's on actually page 42, where it says to provide, the Sheriff's Department strives to hold the line between chaos and order, disturbance and peace, and violence and security, so that all citizens can feel free from criminal attack, be secure with their possessions, and live in peace within their home. Well, I must say, they have not followed that at all. Where'd he go? Oh, he disappeared. So anyways, that was mainly addressed to Sheriff Beth. Now, a lot of you are also responsible, because you all don't think we do our homework. And you all think we just don't know anything because we protest and do whatever else. But let me explain something to you. We have done our homework, and we know who will be getting replaced. And I'm telling you, this is a promise. Who will be getting replaced in 2022. And if you think we're joking, there's a list of names where we have already started your recall papers for April of 2021. Now, I'm a veteran, and I've served my time. And half the time, it sucks. Because like that man said, you guys don't give them much. You could have gave money for mental health to help them out and all types of stuff. Our veterans get nothing. I'm one of them. A lot of them get nothing. And you all sit there and sit in their face and say, thank you for your service. But are you really showing them the thanks and gratitude they deserve? No, you're not. And I think it's wrong. But to those of you who have been there and who have been able to speak up, I thank you. But to those of you who actually think this is a joke, we're not playing anymore. And we mean this. And it's not a threat. It's none of that. It's to let you guys know we put you in those seats. We did. You wouldn't be there without the citizens. And you all, not all, let me rephrase that. Some of you have not been working for your citizens. You guys only care about half your district, and the other half doesn't matter anymore. That is not right. You need to care about the entire district that you serve, not just half.
Ma'am, your time is up. Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak?
Kyle Flood, 6208 32nd Avenue. Bad government. Bad government is how I describe you guys these days. You move citizen comments to after a vote.
so that people can't comment on what you are voting on before you vote on it. This is the time frame you give us to come to you and talk to you about the issues before you on your agenda, to tell you our opinion. That's what citizen comments are there for. This is something KUSD School Board tries to do every once in a while, and it doesn't normally work for them. You guys just did that. You guys just said, we don't want to hear from you. We want to vote first, and then you can come up because we want to go home earlier. We don't want all of you, every single person here, to line up and talk because then we'll be here all night. Get over yourselves, all right? You're elected officials, and I know some of you think that that means you are above everybody else in our community, but it's not the fact. In fact, you're elected officials, you're below every single person here. We're your boss, and we can fire you. Now, it's great that you guys passed this, and it's great that we see the cowards on the county board that didn't show up tonight, right? Like, and you, a lot of you know what I'm talking about. They didn't show up because they're cowards, and they asked the new guy to fall on his sword tonight. That's what happened. We know that's what happened. But then all of you take part in moving citizens' comments. All of you take part in bad government. You need to have citizen listening sessions. You need to have more opportunities for us to come to the table and talk to you about these things, not push it away. You should all be ashamed of that vote right there. Completely ashamed. And I know some of you have spoken badly about KUSD doing it. And then you do it? I'm really disappointed in that.
Any other citizens' comments? Any other citizens' comments? Step up to the podium, your name and address, please.
Hello, my name is Varnell Patterson. I'm from the 7th District. The first thing I would like to do is thank all the men and women, all the veterans here that served our country and went abroad to fight for our freedoms, the same things that we fight for today. Thank you, Mr. Berg, for your service. I believe the reason we need body cameras because of the incident that just happened 15 minutes away from us in Waukegan, Illinois, where there was an officer-involved shooting that took place in Waukegan. And because of the body cameras and because of the transparency with the police, the mayor, and with the community, they came up to a resolution to where within 24 to 36 hours, that officer was fired from his position. Also, that officer is also being charged. So I challenge you all to pass the resolution for body cameras because it gives us all transparency. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the Jonathan Massey case that's going on here in Kenosha, which is an officer-involved shooting. Mr. Rose, I'm sure you're familiar with it. I'm sure it came across your desk, where he was alleged to have shot an officer here in Kenosha 2 weeks prior to Mr. Jacob Blake being shot in the back by Officer Rustin Shesky. If we had body cameras, we would know what happened in that incident, because in my neighborhood, in my community, there are witnesses who fear retribution, who say that they saw the officer fire first and shoot Mr. Jonathan Massey in the back. All we have is a dash cam, which the public has yet to be seen. So I challenge the board to be more transparent with these things that we have, so it don't cause an uproar in the community, and so we know what happened. Because the only thing we're going off of is the police's word. We're not going off of Jonathan Massey's word or his family or the eyewitness who are afraid for their freedom and their safety's word. So I challenge you guys to look into that, look into those cameras, do some investigation, get internal affairs involved in that, because there's some details of that case that don't sit right with us community members. Like his family being arrested for harboring, aiding, and abiding a fugitive. When we know that Mr. Kyle Rittenhouse, when he left the scene raising his hands, that he was taken home by someone And the rumors where we from is that he was taken home by our sheriff and law enforcement. And if that's the case, then whoever the hell took him home, they need to be charged with aiding, abiding, and assisting a felony. If not, then Trevina Williams, the family members of Jonathan Massey, who are all women, mothers with $50,000 bonds, they bonds need to be reduced. They need to be let home to their kids as well. And once again, I thank you, veterans that served our country and fought for our freedoms. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
I would like to elaborate on that. My name is James Simmons. I'm also a resident here, and I'm also a law enforcement officer in Illinois. We have body cameras. I want to talk to you about that. The body camera supports both sides. I love the body camera. It keeps people in check, okay? When you're in a situation, just like he was talking about in Waukegan, the officer failed to turn his body camera on before he started to shoot. That's wrong. We need to have before, beginning, and after video so it can be transparent for everybody to see. I'm also a veteran, and I appreciate everybody here that are veterans. But the goal is to have the transparency. It's not a privilege to have the body cameras to protect the people. It's the right, okay? We have to do better. There's nothing to hide. We're all transparent. But here's the thing, with this last call, if we would have saw something before, during, and after, you can expose that video to stop the rioting, to stop the looting, because now we're transparent. Stop it before it begins. That's the key, and that's the goal for everything, for we can have unity amongst the people here in Kenosha County, Kenosha City. That is the main goal. Thank you.
Sir, thank you. Any other citizens' comments?
Hi, I'm Maggie Kent Flesh. I live right over there on 87th Place. Thank you for passing this resolution, although it should have passed the first time, and the fact that it did not shows us that safety is not a priority to you. The fact that you cannot even bring yourself to wear a mask shows us that safety is not a priority to you. Let's be honest, if you really cared about your fellow board member's sick family, you'd at least wear a mask. It's a piece of fabric. You don't care, and you're not going to stop us from speaking.
Please refrain from addressing some of the county supervisors at this point. Your name and address?
Oh.
Are you ready to speak?
So, the fact that I'm Elizabeth Webb, I live in District 7. The fact that you could sit here and not understand the severity of not passing the motion to have body cameras is offensive. It shows a total disrespect and disregard for my life, her life, his life, his life. These are people that live in the community and are in fear every day they go outside of their house because of the color of their skin. We have a police department that clearly don't think they need to abide by their own laws and regulations. And for us, that puts us in another state of dire need right now. You guys act like body cams would be so much for you to do or to implement, but you can sit here and talk to us about a $40 million plan to redo or fix 28 businesses uptown and downtown. And then the man sat there and had the audacity to actually refer to the people, and we know all who he's talking about, the businesses uptown, as if they are too ignorant to the fact that they can go out there and get this kind of funding. If you had that kind of funding, why wouldn't you want to instill body cameras? I am appalled. I don't understand what you're thinking by not approving something like that. You're going back and forth for months about this, even before the shooting of Kyle Rittenhouse. And for it to not be passed after the shooting of Jacob Blake is offensive.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments?
Good evening. My name is Diamond Hartwell. I am in Jeff Gent's district, right on 22nd Avenue. I definitely was not going to speak tonight. Tonight was about listening and watching and observing you guys, but I'm very, very, very offended and irritated with the fact that it is the day after Veterans Day, the day after, and you have all these veterans in here. They're wearing their hats and they're wearing their uniforms, and they came in here because you're voting on something that affects them. And it's great that the bonding passed as it should have, as I expected it to. But the fact that you tried to move citizen comments to after that vote, it's extremely appalling. Imagine if each and every one of them had something to say, something that affected that vote that you were making. You just silenced them.
We did not silence them. We pushed the.
By moving citizen comments to
half
after
hour,
what
ma'am.
they are here to speak on, you are silencing them. Moving comments to after what they are here on, what you know they are here on and want to speak on, that is silencing them. And I don't care if you try to silence me, Mr. O'Day. You will not silence the veterans in this room the day after Veterans Day. Learn some respect.
The veterans have been here every meeting talking about it.
My name is Isaac Waller, and I'm currently living out of the city due to work, but I originally came here to talk about the body cameras, but that shifted a little bit after we experienced what happened here today with the fact you guys decided to move the citizen comments to after the vote. And people may feel that that's not important, but put in this perspective of the people who are here today. It's citizen comments, not your comments to play around and toy with to affect your vote. And I can look around the room. You told us not to address people in the room. When people are making faces when our comments, I'm going to address people in the room. Now, we have a right as your constituents to talk. And we have a right to voice our opinions before said votes happen. And we have that right because we, the people, have the power to vote you in to your positions and to vote you out. We, the people, are who is affected by your decisions when you cast a budget, when you vote on a budget. It affects us and it also affects you. It affects your family and it affects your kids as well. So to not want to hear from people of all different walks of life before casting such vote is appalling to me. So I look around the room and I see people. I see a board full of people. I see citizens who are people. We have a lot of common ground, but yet you guys decide to divide us so much. You decide to act like you are better than us, like you have the right to take our voice away. And yes, that is taking their voice away, as she has spoke about the vets who are here today. Because you didn't know what they wanted to talk about before that vote happened, and now you won't know. It's very easy to silence somebody. The mind is very fragile. Emotions are very fragile. Simple motions such as moving comments can silence somebody very easily. And you may never know because they may never talk about it. But the fact that you guys had no problem doing that without asking the rest of the board if they agree is wrong. Because you effectively spoke for the rest of the board without asking if they agree with what you want to do. So what is the point of having a whole board full of people if you're not going to ask them if they agree with what you're going to do? What's the point? If you want to run the show by yourself, have them go home. Have everybody else go home. It can just be your show. But that's not what this is about. That's why you have a board. So use the board for what it's for. Because I don't feel in my heart that everybody here on this board today would have agreed to doing that we did here today. I know some people on the board personally, and I don't feel they would agree to that. Now, when it comes to the body cameras There are studies that show that body cameras have reduced the amount of force calls. No, wait till that stops. It's distracting. Thank you. There is studies that show that body cameras have reduced use of force on calls.
Wrap it up, please.
I will in a minute. And hold on, let me pull this out. I'm just going to read you something that's not even from my own words. That's straight from a study by the National Institute of Justice. In 2017, the National Institute of Justice supported and funded the researchers from the Center of Naval Analyses. They conducted a randomized control trial on 400 police officers in Las Vegas. The research team found that officers with body-worn cameras generated fewer use of force reports and complaints from citizens compared to officers without body-worn cameras, meaning it benefits the citizens, it benefits the departments. It also shows more productivity out of those officers because now they're always being watched. So your dollar goes a lot further with these departments when these officers are held accountable, not only for our sake, but for your sake as well. So why wouldn't you want that? The fact that it had to come to another vote is ridiculous. The fact that our safety on the streets is not important. Oh, I'm taking it upon myself to keep talking a little bit longer, sorry. But the fact that our safety isn't important is appalling. Because we've seen what happens in this city in particular when body cameras are not an issue that is brought up and voted on. And we should have body cameras a long time ago. Other cities, other departments had body cameras for years. And here we are in Kenosha without them. And we had to fight to get them. What is wrong with that picture? Why do we have to keep painting the picture that we, the citizens, are crying for help from our government to help protect us? How long do we have to keep that cry going before you guys realize that we're not going nowhere? I can promise you right now, the people you see right here will be here time and time again until things get right. Until, no matter the color of your skin.
So your 3 minutes are up, please.
I'm almost done.
Somebody else speak now.
I'm closing right now.
Thank you.
But people, they're letting me speak. We will be here time and time again. And you will get sick of our faces, I promise you. But we don't care. I don't care. I can guarantee you they don't care. Until the day that I can walk in this room, my brothers and sisters can walk in this room, the vets can walk in this room, be treated as humans, respect and dignity, and given the full extent of our Constitution to live free in this country without any restraints and restrictions from the government, we will show up. Then after we get that, we'll continue to show up to make sure you keep doing it. So you can make it easier on yourselves and get with the program or not, but either way, we'll be here.
Thanks.
My name is Jason Lopez. I refuse to give my address in fear of retribution from the Kenosha Police Department and the Kenosha Sheriff's Department, and also white supremacist groups here in Kenosha. I'm here to give a list of demands. List of demands, number 1, fire and charge Rustin Shesky. Demand number 2, fire David Beth for his failure to protect this community and for his racial remarks. Fire Chief Miskenis for his failure to protect this community and his racial remarks. Number 4, immediate introduction of funds into the budget for body cams for all of Kenosha County police agencies, the Sheriff's Department and the city. Number 5, reallocation of police funds. It's plenty money in the budget, damn near half of it. Get us some body cameras to protect you and us. Number 6, Rocco LaMacchia needs to be removed from any public office in this city. I'm done.
My name is the Black Man. I hope your kid gets shot in the back 7 times. I hope your kid walking down the street and the police catch him for nothing and shoot him 7 times in the back. I walked around and knocked on doors. I walked around, I talked to kids. Most of the kids telling me that the police is bullying them. I caught the police. Kids playing football in the alley. The police rolled past these kids this tall, throwing the football. He told them they can't play there. What if your kid was playing there? Would you have a problem with that? Is that an issue with y'all? Y'all don't care. Y'all don't care. And when it come down to it, I don't know if y'all want us to not care either. Because we coming to a point where we just don't care. The police is bullying. I called the police one day because a kid had told me he had been beat up, pulled over by the police. They brushed him off after they beat him up and told him he was the wrong person. I called the police station trying to see who drives a K9 truck. We found out who it was. Officer Juergens. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all know him. He's the only one that drives second shift in a K9 truck. He tried to bully me on the phone, right? He couldn't bully me on the phone. I asked him for his badge number. He said he didn't have one. 2 hours later, he was driving down my street. I didn't know it was him, but I seen the same K9 truck. I flagged him down. Hey, he jumped out the car like he just stopped somebody who was running from him. Slow down, Mr. Officer. I just wanted to say, hey. Oh, you just wanted to say, hey? That was another bully attempt, but I said, yeah, I just wanted to say, hey. Oh, well, can we move to the sidewalk? No, we cannot. We finna go. 2 more officers was back there with him. That was another part of the intimidation. This is what we go through. If them body cams was already up, we'd have had that officer doing what he was doing. But we killed them. Not literally, because we had a camera on the house and I recorded me on the phone with them. So the thing about it is, they just don't care. Y'all let people say what they want to say in these seats. Y'all don't do nothing but turn y'all back and act like y'all didn't hear what they say or said. They can make the most racist comments. You're going to bypass it and act like it's nothing. But it's people like us that got to deal with that. We got to figure out how we going to tell our kids. You know, one thing about it, man, y'all making my kid not like white people, period. Period. My kid, he says to me, I don't like white people. Why is my kid saying this to me? I got white friends. You know what I'm saying? Why is my kid telling me something about the Ku Klux Klan? I ain't seen one. But it's what he see. It's what he hear. It's how they moving. You know?
Sir, would you wrap it up?
Man, you can't tell me to wrap it up. You've been telling people to wrap it up, but at the same time, you don't care. That's why I say, man, I just hope.
You have given your time. I'm just telling you.
Shut it down. Y'all gonna learn. We don't care about your hammering, man.
My name is Kate Trudell, and my throat really hurts. I'm going to have him talk for me for my 3 minutes.
So once again, our kids are getting treated. What if it was your kid playing?
You have to listen to somebody.
What? Sir, you are leaving the room.
Citizens' comments, I'm closing. Unless you stop,
My name is on the list.
your name
It's
is
right
on
here.
the list. I'm impressed.
Okay.
I understand that.
And you're not going to silence me.
So just wait a second now.
After the,
I know who's there.
I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to be out of decorum. We've already talked about that. And I have a right to speak.
You have the right to speak for 3 minutes. Please.
Yes, I do. I do.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
It's okay. I'm going to tell them when I'm done. I've been here all summer. I've been in those board meetings. And I remember very specifically who it was that chose not to support them or tried to finagle away, right? Those 3 missing people wanted the money to be specified where it was coming from because they knew that that would never pass. They wanted it to be, they wanted it to come from letting our police vehicles fall apart on the road, which, I mean, I'm all for that. We all are, right? Okay, because I'm very, yeah. So that proposal was strategic. You don't even see it, but it was because they knew that something like that would never pass and we would still not have body cams. And when that failed, they all changed their false rhetoric that said that they were for body cams and found some new twisted, sick way to try and make it work to their advantage. And it didn't work. Because we, the people, continue to show up. And even when you take our voice, our presence still has power. Because when you go home at night, you're stressed. And right now, with the tensions that we're experiencing and the way that you disrespected the veterans in this room, if you think that we're forgetting what happens in previous meetings, you're wrong. Because I haven't forgotten a single thing any of you have said, a single way you've failed to respond to an email. I'm not forgetting any of it. I'm keeping a list because there are several seats in this room, even with those 3 gone, 4 gone, whatever it is, I don't care. There are several eviction notices and tickets sitting on every single one of your seats. And Portia was right. There's a whole list. So I'm very surprised because I had a good conversation with John, and John is my district. So of everybody in this room, I'm watching John really, really closely because he's been on this board almost longer than I've been alive. And when you take away our right to speak prior to meetings, there's nothing you need to get done after the meeting that's holding you up, except getting home to your nice families, your partners, your children, your grandchildren, your animals. That's it. And if we, the citizens, are willing to sit here and be away from my babies, if I'm willing to sit here to be away from my babies, my pets, to not be available to clean, you better stop that clicker. It's not working. If I'm willing to sit here and exhaust myself night and day to listen to you speak and tell me a bunch of lies, then I expect the same courtesy and response when the civilians have something that they would like to say. Because let's be frank, if they would have been able to speak first, as the way it was indicated and the way that it should be, none of us would probably still be sitting here because you added a whole lot of stuff that we needed to talk about. Stop being so afraid of us. Stop being afraid of us. I'm getting there. You do need to be afraid for your seat. But I'm saying when you do dirty little sneaky stuff like moving citizen comments, it's a cop-out. It doesn't do anything except make your life more difficult, and it makes you look like you're insecure. The time is done where you can pretend to gloss it over. When you're sitting in a room and there's a giant crack from the floor to the ceiling, you can no longer just bring resolutions and amendments and ordinances to this room, to the table, and think that we're going to trust you or think that we believe that wow, Terry Rose really brought something to the table, man. And all of a sudden that just wipes out the past however many decades you've been sitting on this board and you haven't done a thing. All right? So what you see here tonight, I've been telling you all summer. I'm not going anywhere. Nobody behind me is going anywhere. And we are your boss. Somebody else said it. The longer that you keep trying to reserve our right to speak, to flip your votes, the stupider you look. And we all have a larger social online presence than any 5 of you combined here in this room. So for the citizens of Kenosha who are just delusional and blindly walking into the abyss because they have no clue, you better believe that we're telling them all. We're telling all of them. We're telling them all about it.
Wrap it up, Billy.
So when it comes time to vote, please remember that and stop silencing people of color. You just make it worse for yourself.
Wrap it up. Thank you. Thanks for your comments.
Joe Clark, 4862. Was that person on this? Okay. I'll sign on the list. Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll sign up.
Anybody?
Joe Clark, 4862, 105th place, Pleasant Prairie. I was watching this.
Anybody can go up to the podium and speak. Anybody.
If you want to go first. I'll sign up. I can sign up.
Let her have her chance.
That's fine. Go ahead.
No, I ask that Mr. Clark be given the right to speak. All citizens have the right to speak.
You could bring them back to list.
The rule is
now they have the right to speak.
But you don't have to sign up at the beginning of the. You don't have to sign up at the beginning of the meeting. Point of order, Mr. Chairman. I ask you to enforce the rules. Mr. Clark has a right to speak, as do all of the other people in the room if they so choose.
Anybody
you don't have
can
to.
speak at
You
the
do
podium.
not have to sign up at the beginning
sign up
of the
is
meeting.
just a courtesy.
Terry Rose, I wish you would have said that sooner.
Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, we need to have order here, otherwise we have anarchy and chaos. Mr. Clark has the right to speak. We would like to hear from him, just as we would like to hear from the rest of you.
I'm about to.
Wasn't a problem when you spoke. Let Mr. Clark speak.
Anybody can
It
speak
wasn't
at the
a problem.
podium.
You're making it a problem. Let him speak. You just told us that everybody had a right to speak. That includes
Terry,
Mr. Clark.
Terry.
Why do you want to deprive Mr. Clark of the right to speak? Then let him speak. Then let him speak. We listen to all of you.
Hold on. I was on the list first.
No. This is an order. I'd like to hear if Mr. Clark was up there. You can go next.
If you can look at this list, you can see that I'm on it, and I've been on it long before Mr. Clark came in the office. So if you really want order, that's where the order should be. I was on this list ahead of that man, and that is order, right? Thank you. Okay. So, I don't need to say much. You've heard a lot. This is already passed, right? But as you can see, you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. And look, I heard what you did in a little bit of stuff in there, right? It sounds like you really are only giving money to somebody to do something. Are you guys have you done like research on what programs you should be doing for people in this area? I really hope that is the case. There was a mask law that came up, right? And it was turned down when 2 people are out for COVID. Why won't you have masks? It's literally a mandated order right now. To be inside, you have to have a mask on. You guys are supposed to be the order, right? So where is the mask order here? There's a mask ordinance, right? So hold your order and hold your people accountable. This man could have COVID. This man could be passing COVID to everybody else. You all were exposed to the 2 other people who had COVID. Look at your ceilings, bros. Look at that. That's very obviously you don't clean in here. That's disgusting. Come on now. Like, keep some order if you want order. Don't silence only black people, okay? Like, don't make sure that the black woman has her name on the list, but let this hoity-toity white man come up like nothing. Like, be serious here. You can laugh all you want, but it's obviously an issue, right? It's obviously an issue. You can throw it away. You can pretend it doesn't matter. There's this thing called toxic positivity, but I would really like to talk about tone policing. It's where you look past the message and just focus on how it looks or how it comes across, right? So it's loud, so I'm not going to listen. Or that looks ugly, so I'm not going to listen. Avoiding the actual message. Therefore, avoiding the actual accountability in that message for you. Stop avoiding accountability. Start being transparent. Show these people that they don't have to be scared of you voting against them, right? Like, make sure that we can come in here calmly and comfortably, right? To do that, we need to see that you're doing something. We need to know that you're doing something. It's very obviously people don't feel that. We come in here and show you that, right? So I hope that this isn't the end. I hope you don't just pass this and you're like, we did it. We did it, guys. We saved Kenosha, because you didn't. You did not. Please continue to add policies and laws. Research. Do research, please, right? Because that's your job. You took that job, right? We the people elect you to be that person, to do that research, to make sure that you're fully knowledgeable on the actual science, on doctor recommendations, right? We expect that of you. We expect it of KUSD. We expect that of everyone. The health board officer just made sure that, or just asked KUSD to close, right? Because of the high spread. If you pull up the numbers in Kenosha alone, I think we're past 100 people who have died from COVID. In the state, we're past 2,000. In the whole country, we're up to millions. Like, this is serious. It's not fake. We need to take it seriously. People are dying. Hospital beds are filling up. Ventilators are disappearing because of this. So do something about it, because it's literally your job to. O'Day, you have the ability as the chairman to mandate that order in this building, right? In this building, you have that availability.
Talking after 3 minutes. What kind of a?
So you just stop listening?
One vote, one person.
You can tell us to stop.
Putting somebody else on the podium now. Your time is up.
Let her speak. You can tell us.
If you were polite, you would move on.
Stop. Let her speak.
You're not on the podium, ma'am. The one on the podium, please.
If you would just wait, O'Day, I am so close to done. But do you see all the drama you caused by trying to be that head man over there? We get you're the chairman, dude. Listen to us. We don't care that we got 3 minutes up there. It's very obvious. We just want you to listen, right? We just want you to hear us. And you're making it very clear you don't give a crap, right? You're making it very clear you don't want to hear us, right? Change that. Let us know you want to hear us. I see all your eyes right now, which is nice. But would I be seeing all if everyone was here? Make sure you're holding yourself accountable. Make sure you're holding your peers accountable. We elected you, and we hope that you have our best interest. But it looks like you care more about roads and how the place looks than actually changing systemic issues here, right? So we're going to keep showing up until we start seeing those systemic changes.
Any citizens' comments, step up to the
Clark,
podium, state your
District
name and address.
18, Pleasant Prairie. I was watching the meeting and I decided to come down here because I was listening what was going on and the misunderstanding. I want everybody to know here that there are 17 supervisors in attendance. 17 supervisors that have supported police cams and the budget. They had to call this special meeting because there are supervisors that didn't even have the decency to show up and voted no.
But now we gotta shut up.
One person at a time talks.
So these 17 supervisors have supported the bonding. The bonding requires 18 votes in order for it to pass. They called a special meeting to right the wrong that was done by a minority on the board. I didn't mean it that way, but five, please. Can I speak?
Chairman, enforce the rules, please.
You really had to go there? Come on. Shut it down.
No, I didn't mean minority. Anyway, can I speak? Move them out.
Now, that's what we need. If we don't get it, shut it down.
If we don't get it, shut it down.
You're going to take control of the meeting, Mr. Chairman?
So now, because it involves a white man, you're not going to adjourn the meeting. But when it involves systematic oppression, you adjourn it. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy sounds like.
Mr. Chairman.
You got
What are you doing?
Come on, baby. All right. Go ahead, Clark.
Yes.
Don't you wish?
Change them all. We don't care what you say. Look, did you hear how I had to speak with everyone behind me? You better start talking, dude.
Mr. Chairman, I believe that we should continue the citizen comments in an orderly fashion and that you should gain control of this meeting, please.
Sheriff Halsey? Sheriff?
I would like to hear what Mr. Clark has to say and anybody
Sheriff
else.
Halsey, remove the people from the building, please.
Captain Hallisey, the chairman is
So,
speaking to you.
I
What? Yeah. I know. Oh, we want to continue the meeting.
I would like to hear what Mr. Clark says, Mr. Chairman, and the rest of the group that wants to speak.
Hold on.
But we
So
can't
there
listen
were-
if everybody is shouting.
So
and
there
carrying
were
Hold on a minute.
6 supervisors at the budget meeting that did not show up or voted against the police cameras and things that you guys supported. I just came here to tell you that these 17 supervisors have supported the county in that item all the way through. They have done that all the way through. And Mr. Supervisor Winky reached out to supervisors, to the administration, and realized how important the bonding was to get done so they could pass the budget, buy the body cameras, and do some of the things that you guys are asking to be done. Everybody in this room has supported you. And just so everybody understands, Mr. Winky's wife is very ill. And he came in and he came in. Okay, can I finish, please?
No, you can't.
He had to leave early, but I just want you to understand.
Talk at a time.
Mr. Chairman,
Otherwise,
please.
Halsey, move them out, if you will, please. Anybody who's not talking is out of here.
I didn't hear you telling him to leave, so that's a little weird. You're treating me different.
So the only point why citizen comments were moved was because Mr. Winky, Supervisor Winky, needed to come in, vote on the issue, and leave. If he was unable to vote on that issue in a short time frame and get back to his wife, who is very ill, we wouldn't have had this vote tonight that's very important to the county, to the bonding, to the body cameras, the things that are important. So I'm just trying to help you understand, because the board cannot explain that and respond back to you. There's a reason why the board changed citizen comments. I was on the board for 10 years. My wife won't let me. So anyways, I just want to tell you guys, there's a reason why it was changed, and there was no malice towards listening. That's all I want you to know. And I want to thank the county board supervisors for all the work you do, for listening, for passing a responsible budget, and coming here in a special meeting to pass this bonding. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Madison Taft. I live in the north side of Kenosha. And I would just like to say that tonight really goes to show your guys' character. You know, talking over everybody else, telling everybody else that they need to be quiet, that they need to make sure that they're staying in their limits, but have no problem when this man walks up, talking over other people. Oh, but it's a problem when we do it. Not on the list. It's shameful. Moving citizen comment to the end after you voted is absolutely ridiculous. What's even the point of citizen comment at that point if you guys aren't ready to actually hear us out? Huh? What is the point of that? Listen, I understand after the last meeting that I was at when things got a little rowdy and you guys had to stay here later than you wanted to. Now you're trying to pull some slick moves so that way you don't have to deal with us, but you guys just made it worse for yourselves. I hope you know that. Like, it's a big old joke on you now, because you're going to be here even longer, because now you're dealing with a slew of people who are angry and upset because you're, again, trying to silence us over issues that really, really need to be heard. It just goes to show how much you guys don't care about us as a people, that you don't care about the citizens of Kenosha that are actually suffering at the moment. You'd more be on the support of that, whoever the hell he was.
Oh, he was on the county board for 10 years.
Oh, 10 years, exactly. You know, it's a good thing that the body cams were passed, of course. That's excellent. But should it have taken this long? No. What was the point of it taking this long? Huh? Like previously stated, what were you guys trying to hide? What was trying to be covered up? You know, everybody's over here scoffing, you know, rubbing their faces. You know, it really goes to show how little you guys actually want to pay attention to what we have to say and how anxious you guys are to get home. And like previously stated, what do you have to go home to besides your family? Like, we're out here. We're out here away from our families, away from where we want to be, to actually be heard, only to come into a room full of people who look like zombies ignoring us. And it goes to show time after time that we're up here, that you guys ignore us and talk over us and gabble and pretend that, you know, we're the bad people. We're the people that aren't actually, you know, making any sense. We're rowdy. It's ridiculous. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves. You know, this whole thing could have been solved a really long time ago if you guys were to actually educate yourselves and actually care about what we had to say. You know, we have family out here who are scared for their lives. My little sister is scared that one day her mom might not come home. Her little sisters might not come home because of the things that have happened in this, not let alone this city, but this entire nation. It's ridiculous, and you guys refuse to open your eyes to that, and you guys continue to try and shut us up. You guys really need to evaluate yourselves. And, you know, we are in the middle of the pandemic, so maybe pull your mask up over your nose and actually wear one. Unlike him who got to wear his mask down over his nose, but, you know, there is a sign outside that says masks are required. We're how many months into a pandemic and you don't have a mask?
Time to wrap it up, please.
Is it? Because I think it said on the, yeah, I was about to say, I think on that ballot right there, it says that I can talk for 5 minutes. And you were about to let the other guy talk as long as he wants, so maybe I'll just sit up here and waste your guys' time like you were wasting ours. It's really time for change, guys, and it's sad. It's really sad and disheartening. Go ahead. Thank you for your time. Even though I know that it went in one ear and out the other. And hopefully, if we continue to have meetings like this, where we drag it on longer and longer because you guys keep trying to pull some bullshit, you guys will actually, hopefully, actually listen to us one day. Bye.
Any other citizens' comments? Step up to
Hi,
the podium, give us your
my
name
name
and
is Devin
address.
Johnson. I'm not going to yell at you this time because y'all knew coming in here what you had to do and you did it. I'd like to take a moment of silence. I'd like to use my 5 minutes for a moment of silence for all of those injured and killed in protests this summer. So if you all could join me in a moment of silence. Joel, I see you back there. A moment of silence for the people injured and who lost their lives. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everyone in the room. Just remember leaving here tonight that your life is not any more important than anyone else's, and everyone's feelings are valid, and please wear a mask.
Thank you. Any other citizens?
Hey guys, I think I unsuccessfully yielded my time. My throat is feeling better, so I'm just going to say a couple things. So it's come to my understanding throughout the meeting that we actually moved citizen comments or public comments because we needed to get someone out of the board meeting who had a sick spouse at home. And when I was listening to the motion for it, it sounded like what was said was that maybe if we voted on the bonding resolution, it would change citizen comments, which sounds a lot like we're going to silence these people or we're going to vote however we're going to vote, regardless of what they have to say. And I think that's not what you guys meant for us to hear, but that's what it sounded like. So what I would say to you, please ignore him. What would I say to you, Mr. O'Day, as chairman of the board, is have some transparency. Say to us, like, we're human beings. We get it. Like, if my spouse was in the hospital, I wouldn't want to be here any longer than I needed to be here. So say to us, hey guys, like, we have someone in the hospital. We need to vote on this and go forward instead of like making some kind of veiled reason to do it. Like they're going to change what they have to say based on how we vote, because here we are and we didn't change what we had to say. And now we have more stuff to say because we feel silence. So what I'm saying to you is when people are talking about transparency, be transparent in what you're doing. Tell us what's happening instead of telling us what you think we want to hear. That was silly because I was pissed at the way that went, but I would not be mad that a supervisor needed to leave to be by his wife. Like, that's fine. So just tell the truth. We can handle it.
Any other citizens' comments? Step up to the podium.
Mr. O'Day, I just need to know, like, you being the leader of this meeting, I want to ask you, why do you feel it is okay to shush people so much, sir? Mind you, if a person signs their name to something, that makes it a legal binding document. And this here, sir, is one. Because on the top of this page, it says 5 minutes. You shush people once they've said something that you don't want to hear. When in reality, the board needs to hear this. Now, I'm not getting rude or disrespectful. I'm just saying what we have to say is important. You see, because we said it through our votes by putting you all there. So what we have to say is important because we want change. We want the rules implemented. We want laws and things put in place for us to help not only us, but you all as well, because you have to live here also. So don't think we just saying this stuff just because we want to say it. No, you got to think about yourselves as well. Some of you are, because a lot of things that you want done or haven't been doing, we see it. This is why we are saying what we're saying about the next election that is coming up. We've watched long enough. We've heard and we've seen so much disrespect to where we know who we no longer want representing us, the people who put them in those seats. You, sir, have been rolling your eyes, shifting in your seats, getting attitude, all of that. I think that's mighty rude because we're not doing it to you. Some may feel how they feel about you, but me, the respectful one in this room, I'm saying it. I've watched body language. One of the things as a veteran that we're taught in the military to pay attention to, and I've watched every individual's body language, eye contact, and everything else. It tells me a lot about you. It really does. I just want y'all to understand why we come here. It's not to really, honestly, excuse my language, may Allah please forgive me. It's not to piss you off. It's to get you to understand. We want change. We understand you guys have majority of the power to do that. Not the governor, not the mayor. The aldermen can barely do anything, but the one, he got to go because you don't speak like that and you represent people in this city. That's not right. But you all do. Oh yeah, like I said, we've been doing our homework. You have the power. And a lot of these things we want done isn't just for us, it's for both sides. It helps both sides. You all are not looking at that. Let me not say you all, because there are those of you who I really do thank. We thank you. But y'all have to understand, just because you got that vote, don't mean it's time to get comfortable. This is a job. It really is, which means you have to do your job, or we can start making pink slips around this joint. Y'all can think we BSing with you, but we know people in your districts. We do. We're just waiting on the census to come back this year and they redraw the lines of the map. See, we got the old map, but we're waiting on the new one. Oh, yeah. Yes, we know all things that you all never expected this generation to know.
I believe
But
you've
I'm
gone
going to
over
say
10 minutes
this.
now.
I'm going to finish. Hold on.
Wrap
Do
it
not
up, please.
underestimate a generation raised off Tupac, okay?
Wrap it up, please.
Because we not dumb. We know what we're doing.
I appreciate
And we
your
know who we
comments.
have replacing these seats. And you, Mr. O'Day, if I knew, I swear you'd be gone because you real disrespectful. Because I just told you that binding document says 5 minutes. Don't be rude.
You've been over 5 minutes.
No, it
You're not
wasn't.
being rude.
You can't count.
I'm asking you to wrap it up, please. Politely.
Are you sure that was polite the first time? Because we can retract this, baby.
Been in the Army or the Navy or whatever, you follow orders.
But yeah, I follow orders from my commanding sergeant, and you, sir, are not my commanding sergeant.
I'm asking you.
So
to
let's
wrap
get it
up.
together. If you want to be technical around here now, you will hear me. I follow orders from my commanding sergeant, and that, sir, is not who you are. Let's get this together. My orders come from Allah. So let's stop it. Be respectful, because I serve to help your ass. Now I'm going to get disrespectful. You want to talk about respect, but you just disrespected a veteran, though. You're very sad. You're a sad excuse of a man and a leader in this country now. How about that? Because I did my time. I served for you. So what I suggest you do is to respect me. And you sit there quietly. How about that? You're added to the list.
Any other citizens?
All right. Just want to talk one more time and explain. We saw a lot of frustration for a reason. Y'all may not agree with the method of said frustration. That's not for you to agree with. But it's. I'll wait till he's done talking.
Yeah.
Are you ready for me to talk, sir? Just for you to listen for a moment, please, and thank you.
How much more time do you want?
So, the frustration that you see here today is directly related to the non-active listening that you, Mr. O'Day, have. You sit there and you watch a timer and you count down the seconds until you can tell us to essentially shut up and walk away. You always have a rebuttal. You're not listening. I've taken speech courses in public speaking, and active speaking means you be quiet and you listen. That's the first thing I learned. I have a long, extensive experience in sales, from business to business, to people, and the second you talk means you're not listening. So if somebody's speaking and you're talking over them, you're not actively listening. And you, sir, do not actively listen. And that's a problem, because the people who voted you in are trying to talk to you as humans about our concerns for this community. And you don't listen. You don't. Because if you would, you just be quiet. And you let us talk. You got out of your seat and came over here to defend somebody, but you didn't get out of your seat. Whether or not he knew he was up in line or not, it's not the point. But the fact is, people said, hey, we're on the list. We need to talk. But you didn't get out of your seat for that. But you're shaking your head, sir. But that's exactly what happened. I'm not putting feelings into it. I'm just talking about what happened. It's a timeline of events. That's what happened. People can take for that what they want to take for that, but that's what you did. It's on video if you want to watch it. And that speaks. Your body language, your actions speak volume very loudly. And tonight, in the meetings I've been at, it's poor. Your body language is poor. The message you send out is poor. You send out the message that you care about you care about yourself, you don't want to listen. But I got your attention right now because I'm talking about you. So now you want to listen because you've been quiet. You have people on this board who come to do their job. They come to listen to people, and everybody here, for the most part, with the exception of an individual who's directly right here, has been pretty receptive without making facial expressions and being rude. But then you have the chair of the board who just doesn't want to listen. A chain is as strong as its weakest link. We identified a weakest link on this board, Aaron Decker. And we're identifying a weakest link right now in you. You can be quiet and let us talk. It's not that hard. I've taught 2-year-olds how to be quiet and listen to adults when they're speaking. And you're well over than 2 years old, sir. That's all we want. We're not asking for much, just for you to listen. I don't understand why that's so hard. Just to be quiet. Okay, the sheet says 5 minutes. If you'd like a copy of it, somebody can bring it up to you. 5 minutes is 5 minutes. And if we go over 5 minutes to explain our concerns, because we have concerns, and they're okay with it, the person behind us, just let us talk. Because we're not up here just for no reason. We don't come here, take time out of our day, drive to these meetings for fun. It's not for fun. This is our life. Lives that have been lost, lives that are in jeopardy, lives that are not getting the respect and the care they deserve, because as a government as a whole, it's not meant to take care of everybody. It's simply not. The homeless problem, for example, in Kenosha is ridiculous. There are veterans sleeping on the street, and there are people coming here to talk about Black lives, talk about veterans, talk about homeless people, to talk about, yes, the police who may not have adequate resources to do their job properly or to train them to do their job, so they stop shooting innocent Black people. We want to talk about that without being interrupted. So we don't see things in Kenosha happening like happened to Jacob Blake. So I don't have to drive down the street and see homeless people on the street in tents, freezing and dying every winter because you don't want to hear our concerns. So at what point do those lives become important to you? At what point? That's why we're here. And you were put on this board to listen to us and put in laws and rules to support the people. All people, 100% of the people, not 1%, 100%. So when we ask for your respect, we're demanding your respect because we deserve your respect. There's people on this board, like I said, I know, and they know who I'm talking to when I talk about them. They give that respect. There's people on this board who do not give that respect. The respectable thing would be, in the middle of a pandemic, to wear a mask. And yes, I take it off to speak. We're social distancing, but you haven't had a mask on this whole entire time. At all. And you're not speaking, so put a mask on. Take it off to speak. I'm not mad at you, but you're sitting here, put a mask on. It says on the door to wear a mask when you walk in the building. But you want us to respect you as a supervisor when you won't follow the rule at all. But then you want to sit here and roll your eyes and get frustrated when somebody else is not following the rules.
Sir, I've allowed you to talk twice.
Okay, wrapping up.
I get your point.
I'm at the close of my
I
speech.
appreciate your comments. I think we all do. But just kindly wrap it up.
I appreciate it. I will. Thank you very much. So you want respect. You want us to follow your rules. You want to sit here, sir, and talk to people, roll your eyes, get frustrated, get mad when they don't follow the rules, but you don't want to follow them yourself. There's a word for that. It's called being a hypocrite. And there's no word for hypocrites in government. Because nothing happens, nothing gets done when you're hypocritical. So I expect the next time I come to a meeting, you'll have a mask on. If not, as of right now, you're telling people you do not respect their health. You do not respect who they are. So the ball's in your court, sir. And we'll know your answer next meeting. Mr. O'Day, as we talk, the next meeting, the ball's in your court, and we'll know how you respond, how you listen, how you pay attention. So we'll know your answers then. And for the people on the board who have been listening, who have been polite, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I know you can't respond back, but I appreciate the act of listening. You guys have been great, and I appreciate the effort you guys do. And I'm sorry there's people on your board that don't follow suit and make you guys look bad, but I wish for a day that you guys can stand up and speak up for yourselves as well and get out the weakest links that you have in your board. Thank you.
Thanks for your comments.
I won't need long. I won't even need the 3 minutes. A lot of people have talked about how by moving citizen comments, they felt harmed. And regardless of the reason, it's on your shoulders for not effectively communicating that. But I would like to talk about what the most harmful aspect of these damn board meetings is for me every single time. It's worse than John O'Day trying to silence me, but defending a white man. It's worse than people laughing and shrugging their shoulders and rubbing their face. It's worse than all of that. The worst thing for Billy is the silence. And I don't mean the silence in this room because you're not allowed to talk. I can look around this room, and after all the times that I've been here, I distinctly know certain people, and I don't even know the names of other people, like this man here in the blue shirt. All the times I've been here, not both of them, really. I have no idea who they are. I have no idea what they stand for. They're literally as silent as like a dead raccoon on the road. The man in the yellow shirt back there, I don't know who he is, but he did have some candor tonight. He at least looks half alive. Who's this man here in the blue jacket with the glasses? Who's that?
Whitney, nobody's disparaging you. Why are you going into this?
Oh, I'm not attacking them. I'm just saying. I'm not even saying anything about them.
You're not making any points.
My point is, you're missing my point. I can't help you if you can't think outside the box and try and understand the point. My point is that there are key influencers in this room, right, on your side, that are known to speak up in defense of the people, whether it's an amendment, whether it's a disagreement, and they're consistent in their effort to do so. And one of them is also not here right now, but I have a lot of respect for them. But the rest of you are silent. You're silent in the community. And the woman sitting behind the plaid mask, these are my old glasses, I can't see really well. I don't think I've ever heard her even speak once. Is it Beth? I don't know.
Most of the work gets done in committee.
I know, but she has a voice when it comes time to talk about changes in the meeting, does she not? Because other people use their voice. Yeah, like I've heard Jerry speak out of turn the last time he tried to silence us in defense of the fact that he heard us. I mean, if 6 people on the board are talking at the same time, all the rules are kind of mute because nobody can hear each other. But seriously, a single one of you could literally say anything at that point. We're paying attention, and we need for you to do better.
Any other citizens? Hearing none, citizens' comments are closed.
Resolution 52. Resolution temporarily permitting remote attendance and participation in meetings. From the Executive Committee, O'Day, I, Uhas, I, Belsky, I, Berg, I, Boyd Frederick, I, Gashke, I, Grady, I, Rose, I. From the Legislative Committee, Berg, I, Boyd Frederick, I, Winky, nay. Kubicki, I, Beth, I, Nordigan, excused, Mauer, excused.
We've been here once before, and we had some support unanimously, if I'm correct, on the executive and the legislative committee. I urge for your support tonight as our numbers have increased and continue to increase in Wisconsin and in Kenosha, and it has affected our county board in itself also. So I strongly urge you to support tonight this resolution 52.
Supervisor
Yes, thank you.
Franco.
I thought it was interesting when the vote was taken in the executive committee that there was very little, in fact, I don't think there was any discussion in regard to the actual content of the resolution, other than a couple amendments that were made to restrict the time for how long this resolution will take place. So the ability for supervisors to meet virtually. I know several months ago we voted on a similar resolution and it didn't pass. I understand that, but I would like to say that things have really changed. I'm sure all of you know that during this time, this is the cold and flu season is picking up. The numbers in Wisconsin as well as in the United States are going through the roof. Deaths are increasing, infections are increasing, and I think it's important to mention this and focus on the actual content of the resolution. Frankly, the amendment that was made limiting the time frame, I think, is misguided. We don't know how long COVID is going to last. They just came out with the research and development of a potential vaccine, but more than likely this vaccine will take months, if not well into next year, before it's distributed, administered, and then there's always the question of how many people are actually going to take it before some sort of immunity, herd immunity, is attained. So I understand what happened here, but I do want to redirect the attention to the actual purpose of this resolution. I don't think it should be limited. I think that last resolve should be put back in, and that if this virus continues well beyond January 6th, which it more than likely will, I think the board should have an opportunity to meet virtually. So I support this, but I think it's dangerous to say that we can't go beyond January 6th and that it's going to be cut off, and then there's no way of extending virtual meetings. So I'd like to make an amendment and reinstate that last resolution so we have the possibility of extending virtual meetings beyond January 6th. I'll second that.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The problem I have with this is the same problem I had with it before. I just had people pointing at me and calling me out for trying to suppress what they had to say. And I think if we go virtual, we won't be listening to anybody. So I think in being transparent and honest about it, we should meet in public. The people who have issues with COVID need to quarantine. I mean, that's just it. And frankly, I'd like to see the medical records of the people who are saying they have COVID and they're not here tonight. I think they're not here tonight because they don't want to take a vote. But regardless of that, I think that we should be transparent. We should meet in public, and I'm not going to be supporting virtual. I wanted, the only reason that was brought up in my mind was to make sure we got the bonding put through because the county couldn't shut down. So that was my take on it. I won't be supporting this. I think we need to be transparent as a board. Actually, it's to our credit that a lot of these people have issues with the city and they've been coming here and hammering us. And that's fine. But you know what? We're at least here to be hammered. And I think we should continue to do that. Thank you.
Okay. Supervisor Rose.
Thank you. I would move to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
You have a second? No second?
All right, let me speak to this amendment.
Let me
and,
come back to you then.
pardon me?
Mr. Chairman, are we going to recognize other
Made a
flags
motion. I'll
besides
come back to you.
Supervisor Rose?
Ron Frederick.
There's flags all over the place and they're going back to the same people every
No,
time.
Ron Frederick, you're next.
Okay, here's my point. I come to these meetings. Okay,
Get it closer, I can't hear
have
you.
I got the floor? All right, I got the mic on. Have I got the floor, right? Okay, I come to these meetings and 5 or 6 of them won't even put a mask on. Okay? They're jeopardizing everybody in this room. I'm sorry, Supervisor Gintz, but they were correct in choosing you too. You won't wear a mask. I wear a mask, everybody else wears a mask. I'm expected to come in this room and then Nordigan, he walks all over the place with his mask. Decker won't wear one because the president won't wear one, I guess. So I gotta jeopardize my health. Everybody else is in this room because there's 5 or 6 of us that won't even wear a mask.
Right.
And that's why I want this thing virtual. I'm gonna support the virtual.
Okay, are you done?
No, I'm not done.
Okay, keep going. But
This is important to do. This thing is gonna keep going on. It's not gonna stop. It's getting worse. Everywhere in Wisconsin, it's getting worse. Every one of us is jeopardizing our health when we come in this room, and especially when we come in this room with the people without masks. So I want this thing to go virtual, and I'm going to support the virtual. And I don't like even the January 6th thing, okay?
Supervisor Palmerville.
I'm also in favor of the amendment to extend it beyond January 6th. In my day job, I do 200 to 300 meetings a year. 100% of them have been suspended at this time. Nobody's meeting in person. Everything is virtual. I think we're a little bit behind the times by thinking we can't do it or couldn't do it or shouldn't do it. I think it's a disservice for people who do come to speak for citizens' comments or not able to provide them a safe area where they can be socially distanced all the time, regardless of how many people come in. I really think we need to extend this far beyond possibly January 6th. Today we beat New York City at their height for positives in a day for COVID right here in Wisconsin. So I think we need to really look a little bit more serious. DHS, for the agency I work with, has given us directives all the way through the end of April at this point. It's not January, it's many months in advance. And I highly suggest that we meet virtually for as long as we possibly can for all of us who have people at home, who hold positions of any what do we call it? Essential services at this point. There's many of us in here that do essential services and would really impact the community as service providers if we couldn't be here because of COVID.
Supervisor Gully, you have your flag up.
So to the chairman, to Supervisor Gantz, what if there were 8 of us at once that were quarantined? Like, if you care about the continuance of governance, this is how we do it. So to me, it's just as much about that as it is the health issue.
Mr. Chairman, I ask
Supervisor Gaske.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have a question, clarification to the maker of this amendment, Supervisor Franco. In committee, the final "be it further resolved" was completely struck, but the second from the last one was modified. And so I just want to be clear what your amendment is. Is your intent to reinstate the language exactly as was originally written?
I was under the impression I was referring to the last "be it further resolved" where it says that we can extend it beyond January 5th. I don't see any reason to change the language as it was written originally. So I was my amendment was basically just to put that in so we can, if necessary, extend a virtual meeting beyond January 5th. Does that make sense?
It does. Then, if I could, through the chair to Supervisor Rose, since Supervisor Rose in committee was the one that made the amendment. Supervisor Rose, would you just clarify, please, the change that you made on the second to the last "be it resolved"? Again, I just want to be sure that we understand the amendment that Supervisor Franco is presenting.
The resolution before the board as amended states that it ends January 6th, period.
Okay, thank you. So before we vote on this, obviously there's still further discussion, but before we vote on this, if we could just have it clearly read, what it is that we're voting on, that would be great. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Supervisor Beth.
Probably I'm looking at this from a little different point of view, but the medical community doesn't let anybody in the hospital, even though if they have family in ICU, whether the patient's having surgery, whether the patient's going in for tests, they're even limiting the amount of doctors that can get in to see their patients. And I think if the hospitals in the medical field are doing this at this time and want everybody to decrease gatherings, I think we as a county board should go virtual. I think that's what's in the best interest of everyone.
Supervisor Berg.
Hearing the outpouring of support for the amendment, I'd ask the amendment maker, Supervisor Franco, if you would be open to a friendly amendment to changing the January 6th and the 5th to the April 7th and April 6th meetings. And the seconder.
Frankly, I don't think we should put a date on it, to be honest with you. I just think it should be as long as this virus is raging and it's dangerous for people to meet in public, even though, most of us have masks and we have social distancing, we don't know who's positive or not. There are people who could be. I mean, we have a couple already, and there are others who might be and have no idea because they have no symptoms. I don't think we should make a date. I think that second one before the end that was struck, be it further resolved that this adjustment shall remain in place until lifted either by declaration of the county board, county board chair, a majority of the county board, or January 6th, whichever comes first. That was already struck, if I understand it, or it was changed just to January 6th. Am I correct? Yes. Okay. So then my amendment that includes that last one in there must also strike that second, be it further resolved entirely, because we can't have it ending in January 6th and then say it can be extended beyond. It's got to be one or the other. So I would say strike that it ends in January 6th and then keep that last, be it further resolved, that it can continue beyond January 6th. In other words, that the county board is authorized to consider such an extension beyond that.
So coming back to, let's play politics on this. Do you think that when we get a full board here again, are we going to go ahead and extend this? Or is this that chance? That's all.
My impression, we already have extended it January 6th. I'm just saying that the language is in there to go beyond it if we want.
We'll have to
based
re-vote.
upon a board vote, it says there, not any further action or consideration by committee.
Through the chair of the Corporation Council, this says that we still need to come back on the 5th or the 6th to re-vote on this, right? To extend this, whether it's virtual or not.
Correct. As written, the matter would either expire upon the declaration of the chair, a majority vote of the board, or January 6th, and further the language in the language that was originally presented but was struck in committee would permit the board to extend it beyond that date without having another committee vote on it. The board could just take it up directly.
All right, I'll end with that.
Mr. Chairman, this is a rule change. Rule changes require 2/3 of the board. There aren't even 2/3 of the board remaining here this evening. There are 14 members. That's not 2/3. It's not going to pass in any event. That's why I thought the motion to adjourn was appropriate. I would move to refer this back to committee. It can't pass this evening under any circumstances. The rules provide 2/3 vote to change the rules. That's 2/3 of the entire 23 board members. It can't pass, so there's no point in continuing the discussion.
Supervisor Rhodes is correct that a change in the rules, a permanent change going forward by our rules, requires a 2/3 vote of the entire board. This resolution as presented is putting forward a ongoing but time-limited suspension of the rules, which requires a 2/3 vote of the members present.
We don't have that. Well, I would disagree that this is, I think this is a change of rules of the board because there is no, as the amendment here says, it's unlimited. There's no time frame whatsoever. That's a change in the rules. It can't be passed. It's 2/3 of 23. We don't have, we have 14 people here.
Mr.
If
Franco,
everybody voted in favor of it, it's not going to pass.
Let me get Supervisor Grady in here for discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple issues that are being discussed here is the idea of going virtual via in-person. I'm a strong supporter of in-person. I like it. I like the citizen comment. I like the ability to actually have face-to-face meetings with my fellow county board supervisors. I think it's important. It's part of a democracy. The issue is we're in such uncharted waters, such different times. It may come to pass that we may not be able to function as a county board if we don't have quorums, if we don't have the necessary people in attendance. So as much as I disdain the whole process, I would be in support of virtual meetings if it did have a sunset clause in it. And I think the sunset clause is important. Went through this with the county executive. He made an executive proclamation earlier about the COVID crisis, and we debated right in this very group we have here this evening with additional supervisors who are not present. The idea that there needs to be a term limitation. Now, if you want to extend it, you can write into the proposal as well that it can be extended upon whatever majority, whatever mechanism you want. But those are my two observations. Yes, I would support going virtual, but with the sunset clause that could be extended. Thank you.
Bill, based on what you said, would it be best to refer it back? I mean, what I'm saying is just refer it back to legislative committee. If we can't pass that tonight anyway, and rewrite the thing, get the input from the people on the board. They can attend the meeting, see where it goes from there. Mr. Supervisor Franco was maker of the amendment.
Was the intent of this resolution just a temporary change, apparently? So therefore, all we needed was a majority initially. But now if an amendment is made, Supervisor Rose made several amendments in executive that modified it. There was only a majority vote, if I am correct, in the committee. 2/3 wasn't required when it was in executive committee. Why is 2/3 all of a sudden required for the whole board?
If I'm understanding the question, Supervisor Franco, as far as amendments goes, amendments always only require a simple majority, regardless of what the underlying matter might require. As I said, as I read the resolution, I read it as really akin to a motion to suspend the rules, carrying over to an additional meeting with a proposed time limit on it. So it's really an ongoing motion to suspend the rules with a set term as to when that suspension is going to expire. A suspension of the rules requires a 2/3 vote.
Okay.
Point of order. I have a point of order. I have a question.
Mike,
First of all, I think when this board is lined up to vote in person, when you change it to being able to vote electronically, I think that is a change in the rules. And the committee can pass it with a simple majority, but 2/3 is required on the board floor. This needs to go back to the committees. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to refer this back to the executive and the legislative committees. That's where it came from. That's where I would move that it be referred to.
Seconded. Any discussion on the?
Why, you have to ask yourself, why was that presented? It was presented because we felt that the bonding resolutions may not pass this evening. And we thought to accommodate certain people, they could vote virtually. Thus, the January 6th deadline. That was the reason for the resolution. It was not really to change the entire way we were doing business. I think it makes good sense here to meet, discuss informally as well as formally.
The attorney just said that it's 2/3.
I'm not going to argue with you, but it says 2/3 of the 23 must change the rules. Additionally, to those who are present, who are citizens who enjoy speaking to the board, you realize that you're not going to be able to do that if it's virtual. You can submit things in writing. That's about it. So I think it makes good sense. I think it makes good sense. If you are a citizen to support the proposition that the board meet here. But my motion to refer this back to committee is because there aren't enough people here anyways to vote. The entire board ought to be present and take a position on this issue. So that's the, I think we can vote on this some other time. It's not going to pass.
2/3 of the people present. Supervisor Cohen, on the sending it back.
Yeah, so to the chairman, to Supervisor Rose, please don't speak for all of us. I certainly did not think that this was being done to move the bonding ahead tonight. I thought we were doing it for the reasons that we've all stated. And the supervisors not here chose to not be here tonight. So I'm not terribly concerned about their feelings. They made a choice to avoid what was going on tonight. We can move ahead. Point of information, the determination was it was 2/3 present, correct?
It's to change the rules. It's 2/3
Let the council answer.
It is my opinion, again, this is not a permanent change to the rules. A permanent change to the rules would require a 2/3 vote of the whole board. As presented, I view this as akin to a motion to suspend the rules, which requires 2/3 of the members present.
Supervisor Berg called the question. On the motion to refer now. Supervisor Palmville.
So wasn't the last paragraph of that resolution also struck? It was a change to the second to the last, and the last one was completely struck. So you need that last paragraph back in. Is that correct?
Took out the last one.
You want the resolution back to what it was, except not January 6th, right? I want to be really clear about what this is that we're voting on, since we do have the ability to vote on it tonight.
Yes. With my amendment, so yes.
point of information. Am I correct in my assumption that in order for this to pass with a 2/3 majority of persons voting here tonight, that it would have to have a time limit upon it so that it was just as Corporation Counsel had indicated? Corporation Counsel, can you respond?
That would be my understanding, yes.
Thank you.
Supervisor Poundville.
So if the Department of Health Services for the state of Wisconsin, for us as a emergency nutrition provider, has put regulations in place for us until April 31st and the ability to extend it beyond that. Was everybody be in agreement to use April 31st as a possible date?
There are 30 days in April.
There you go. We'll do the 30th.
If that's a friendly amendment, I will consider that. I'm okay with that, April 30th. Therefore, we have a period of time, an actual period of time where it ends, or it needs to be reconsidered. Mike.
We are voting on, what are we voting on now? Just sending it back to committee, so we don't want to send back to committee. We want to vote on that. If you don't want to send it back, we want to vote on it. If you want to send it back, are we ready to vote on that now?
Yes, I think it should be sent back to the committee because we can't even agree this evening on what the proper language is. And you bring in a piece of legislation that we can read and support or oppose, and we keep arguing about what is included and what is excluded. There's a meeting in December, one meeting. Committee can review it. Listen, Mr. Chairman, would you call the order here?
Everything is, you said your piece, Jerry. You said it already. We ready for a vote?
So, yes is to send it back, no is to not send it back.
Yes to send it back,
okay.
No to keep it here.
And can you please use your keypad? Sherry will get the vote there.
I can't read that. So.
She'll read it. Sherry will read the results.
Supervisor Rose,
Yes.
Supervisor Chairman O'Day, is he voting?
What are you voting, sir?
Yes or no?
Are you voting no? Or
yes.
Voting yes?
No,
He's voting no.
Okay. Supervisor Gens?
Yes.
Supervisor Belsky had to leave. And Supervisor Wink is gone as well. Sorry. Motion fails.
What's the vote?
It was 13-3.
We're back on the resolution now. As amended, or we did not vote on Frankel's amendment. We did. Okay, we did not.
So this is the vote on extending the time frame
April 30th.
till April 30th.
Okay, can I read the paragraph for the amendment so we make sure that we have this correct? So it's going to be on that be it further resolved that this adjustment shall remain in place until lifted either by the declaration of the county board chair, a majority vote of the county board, or April 30th. Is that correct?
Or by April 30th, 2020.
And is that it? Or is it the next paragraph as well? Be it further resolved that the situation warrant an extension of these steps beyond April 30th, 2021, that the county board is authorized to consider such an extension at or before the April 20th meeting without further action or consideration by committee. Yes.
Supervisor Berg, go ahead.
No, April 20th meeting. So I'll read it again. Be it further resolved that this adjustment shall remain in place until lifted either by declaration of the county board chair, a majority vote of the county board, or April 30th, 2021. Be it further resolved that should the situation warrant an extension of these steps beyond April 30th, 2021, that the county board is authorized to consider such an extension at or before the April 20th meeting without further action or consideration by committee. Is that correct?
Supervisor Gashke.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair to Corporation Council, the second of the last, be it further resolved, the phrase "a majority vote of the county board," in your legal opinion, is that of the 23, a majority of the 23, or would that be a majority vote of any, of whoever would be in attendance at a given meeting? I'm just trying to figure out what that sunset clause is.
Under our rules, when it says a majority, unless otherwise specified, it's a majority of those present. So by the language as written, it would be a majority of whatever number happened to be at the given meeting where the motion came up.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, you want a roll call vote? This is on the amendment now.
Okay, for the amendment, if you would please press your remotes to make your vote, please.
Yes, if you want to vote for the amendment. No, if you don't.
Motion passes 14 yes, 2 no.
On the resolution now, as amended. Supervisor Rose.
There are 14 people here. There are many missing this evening. I think it's a big mistake to push this through with so few people here. There are 23 members of the board. There are 14.
There are 16 members present.
There's 16. And you're going to get some dissents on this, so it just isn't enough votes to support what I believe is a substantial a change in the way we do business here. The board rules contemplate a 2/3 vote. I think you, Mr. Corporation Counsel, are wrong. I think this is a change in the way we do business, and that's what the rules provide for. It's not a suspension of the rules. That isn't the way the motion, that is not the way the motion is drafted.
I would like to address something you said, Terry.
What's that?
Because people are not here and they're not excused, it's not our problem tonight.
I understand that. I don't support the fact that they didn't show.
So, I mean, the Corporation Counsel stated what he stated, and
well, I think I would urge him to do additional research on this because I think he's in error, and I think that we're going to hear about it.
Thank you. Supervisor Berg.
I want to kind of echo what Supervisor Gully said earlier, but also add the fact that I called in sick to work today to be here for this. If the 5 of the 6 that voted no against it last time didn't want to show up, there's a reason other than they had to work. All right. For them to not be here is the irresponsible part, not us voting on this. That's responsible because we're here. We all have jobs. I called in sick to work today. So there's absolutely no reason why they couldn't be here. So I support it.
Any other discussion? Supervisor Gaske.
Just to respond to Supervisor Rose, I think the fact that we only have 16 members here tonight actually demonstrates the reason that we need to make this type of change. So in addition to the fact that supervisors, regardless of the reasons that they chose to be here tonight or not, again, I think that the situation we're in tonight demonstrates the need to move forward with this. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Ready to vote on the
Roll call.
resolution as amended? We do a roll call. Question.
Resolution 52 as amended. Uhas. Aye. Berg.
Aye.
Campbell. Beth.
Aye.
Rose.
Oh.
Pellegrini. Palmaville.
Aye.
Franco.
Aye.
O'Day. Boyd Frederick. Ron Frederick. Gully.
Aye.
Grady. Gantz. Kubicki.
Aye.
Yashki.
Aye.
The vote is 14-2.
Is that 14-2? Motion passes. Motion to adjourn is made. The second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Carried. Thank you.